Have you heard any of the brethren saying that they did not want Vice President Kamala Harris in office because she's a woman?
Well, let's clarify the landscape first of all. Yes, Kamala Harris is underperforming with black men. Okay. However, still 70% of black men are voting for Kamala Harris. Okay. That's the latest numbers. Mm-hmm. Now, of those who may not be considering voting for her, they are folk who have been impacted by misinformation. Silly stuff like, she locked up black men, or, Trump sent me a check. Trump didn't send you a check during COVID. Congress sent you a check. The egomaniac that he is, he just signed a check, and they think it came from Trump. One of the problems that we have in the African-American community is people don't do their homework, and they will spread misinformation. Now, are black men under-registered to vote? Yes, they are. They haven't had an incentive to do so in some instances. Those who have been part of the underclass and economically permanently arrested in terms of their economic potential. There have been some systemic barriers that have kept black men out of work and have kept black men marginalized. Okay, but that's not Kamala Harris's fault. When we look at what the president can and can't do, okay, the government only serves two purposes. That's to protect us and to deliver services. But all politics is local, okay? And so those who are reaching for an excuse can find one, okay? But if we look at the state of the world today, you need rational, you need balanced leadership. You don't need irrational, unhinged leadership. And, of the choices that are available to us, who is most likely to try to deconstruct the system. Okay. And when we see the stuff that Donald Trump is talking versus what Kamala's talking, stability is important. Because if you think your life is hard now, wait till America destabilizes. And then just like it did during COVID, it will more adversely impact us in our community. And so we have to be rational in our decision making.
That's why we're here, want to help, hopefully this platform, and having you and Carolyn Fowler is here. I want to add her into the mix here. Carolyn, she's from the Democratic, the State Democratic Party, the National Democratic Party. She's a Democratic operator. And, I just really love to have you guys on with us. And hopefully, to your point, Dr. Samad, people can get some information and be informed. Carolyn, thank you for coming on this morning. I'm just asking you the same question. So our brothers hating on Kamala Harris, or what's the data?
Well, first of all, greetings to you and your guests, and particularly my brother, Dr. Anthony Samad. You got the right one there to give that perspective, that's for certain. I do totally agree with him. Typically, our community is misinformed deliberately in some cases. Our younger generation is hooked on this social media, which almost as pervasive in giving bad information, whether it's the wrong date to vote or whatever. I agree with Dr. Samad's point. 70 last election, just so you know, 87% of black men voted for Biden, just so you know. And so The fact that we're about 70% now seems to be on point. The woman just started running. I think people don't understand the time it gets to get information to people, because everybody's what's in it for me. Why would I support you? How is that going to change my life? If you'll remember right off when she made the announcement, and I was on that call with Winning with Black Women. I've been with them for the last year and a half. Right away, we raised a significant amount of money for her campaign. And then other groups started joining. And one of those groups was White Men for Kamala. The other group was Black Men for Kamala. I can speak as an AKA. The Divine Nine is totally behind Kamala Harris, and that's a lot of brothers, by the way. Dr. Samad being one of them as well. So I think we have to do what we've been doing, and it's on the ground. The barbershops, the beauty shops, but particularly for men, you have to meet these people where they're at. Unfortunately, they do have it wrong about the check. That was Congress doing that. And what the bigger factor that I share with men is, what you need to know is Donald Trump never spends his money. It's always everybody else's money. And the fact that when those 5 young men that were innocent in New York, that he took out a full-page ad, which cost quite a bit of money, to have them saying they should be executed. That's the conversation I have with men that say they got the check, and say, so is this the person you want to vote for? Because his entire life has been not about Black people. And so I think we have to educate more so than denigrate people, and give them an opportunity to come to some decisions themselves, particularly Black men. And Dr. Samad also spoke to the incarceration level. That contributes. So there are a lot of systemic reasons why Black men don't show up as much at the polls. And it's to no fault of their own. But we do want to, there are all kinds of campaigns encouraging and letting